Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Karibu to Meru County, where we have a fantastic episode of the Great Debaters Contest. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. Miathene boys and Kaaga girls on the motion that devolved government is less effective than the central government. Who will be victorious?
Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes to take the floor.
I'm Harriet Makasi from Kaaga Girls High School, and I would like to strongly propose the motion that says the devolved government is less effective. Devolution of the government means sharing of power of the national government into other local governments. For instance, in Kenya, we have the county governments. This devolution was once introduced in 1963 and failed terribly. Is that where we want to go back to, Kenyans? To begin with, devolution of the government has brought an increase in the number of representatives. These representatives will need to be paid because we have the governors, senators, women representatives, the county representatives, and let's not forget the president is also there to be paid. The wage bill is swelling, Kenyans. The wage bill is really swelling. And to add salt to injury, last week, just the other day, the governors proposed an increase of the salary that was allocated to them from the proposed 4.5 billion to 12.6 billion. What is going to happen to our economy? I would also again like to propose that devolution of the government is less effective. This is because the devolved governments, for instance in Kenya, the county governments are proving to be unable to manage the dockets allocated to them. A good example is in the health docket. Initially, nurses were paid by the national government, but with the devolution of the government, what happened? They are now being paid by the county governments. We had nurses striking in Mombasa County and in Machakos County, and now we have a threat that there is going to be a nationwide strike for all the nurses due to underpayment. Now the county governments are managing them. They are paying the nurses, and the nurses are striking. They are unable to pay the nurses. I still support that the devolved government is less effective, because now we have two governments, the county governments and the national governments. These two governments are even being in conflict with one another, our leaders in conflict. Let me give another example, still on the health docket, whereby we had the Ministry of Health sending it was distributing some dialysis machines for treatment of cancer, of kidney diseases. Then they were sent to the county governments. The governors then they were against it because they claimed that they were not involved in the procurement process. Our leaders are in conflict. What's going to happen? Thank you.
Opposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Once, Chinua Achebe said, when hot water is poured on bed bugs, their mother tells them, never lose heart, because anything that is hot must at one time be cold. Devolved government is a form of government in which power and authority is allocated from the central government to a local government. This results to a local government with the ability to make laws on affairs that affect the region. The national government or the central government make laws and decisions that affect the entire nation. In Kenya, the constitution provides structures for devolved government, in which there is the county government and the national government. Historically, we can trace the establishment of the devolved government on the Second Lancaster House Conference held in 1962. Here, two parties, KANU and KANDU. KANU was led by Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, and they advocated for a unitary government, which is the central government. KADU were led by Ronald Gala, and they advocated for the federal government, which is the devolved government. After lengthy deliberation, they came to an agreement that the independent constitution will provide the federal government system. In 1963, when Jomo Kenyatta became the head of the nation, he put up rules that could bring down the federal government, and thus it was brought down. Then, when in 1964 December, when they met, Kenyatta or the KANU warned the KANU members to join the KANU, and they joined. This is the time that unitary government took over the nation. Since then, Kenya has been under the unitary government until 27 August 2010, when the devolved government was reintroduced. The devolved government has devolved gender balance in a way that women are recognized in various leaderships. Because, for example, in the National Assembly, a third of the National Assembly consists of the women. And the Constitution also does not allow any gender to dominate in any seat. And therefore, this has really helped in establishing and encouraging women to develop their skills in leadership. It has also brought about equitable distribution of resources in a way that counties are given resources according to their ability to utilize them. For example, if we look at the Bible, in the book of Matthew, illusions were given. The master gave his servants gifts according to their ability. This is what is done now. So I rest my case. Devolved government is where to be and to belong. Thank you.
Proposal number 2, you have 3 minutes for a rebuttal.
The scriptures say, my people perish due to lack of knowledge. Now, I do not want you to perish, so I shall enlighten you. My brother here said that the counties are given resources according to their abilities. So I shall pose a question. Are they given resources according to their abilities or according to their needs? That is a question I would really like you to answer. One major problem that is plaguing this devolved government is the serious cases of misuse of resources. If you have read this week's Nairobian, you shall see a story of the county government whereby they have allocated 12 million shillings for the governor's tea and mandazi. 12 million shillings for tea and mandazi people. And it makes me wonder, does this tea and mandazi cook itself, or what is making it so expensive? This is money that the Kenyans are paying, and it is being wasted on ridiculous extravagances like tea and mandazi. And people will stand here and tell us that this devolved government is effective. It's really ridiculous. Furthermore, the devolved government has proved to the people that it is not equipped to be able to deal with the disasters. For instance, the Nairobi County has a very poor drainage system. And this, of course, makes the Nairobi people suffer from the onslaught of floods whenever there are heavy rains. I'm wondering, a large county like Nairobi, it is the capital city of this country. And you want to tell me that the county government cannot solve a simple problem like drainage? Honestly, I think to myself that maybe by 2020, the Nairobians will have evolved into amphibians so as to survive the onslaught of these floods. One other thing is that the devolved government has been unable to repay its debts. Recently in the Daily Nation, we had a story of the Nakuru County, which owes the National Medical Supplying Agency over 870 million shillings on drug debts. It makes me wonder, where is the money allocated to the counties going to? How does someone manage to accumulate a debt of over 870 million shillings, people? Really? Or is it that the governor has suddenly decided that he needs lunch worth over 870 million shillings? You know, I wonder about these things. We have been told of the conflicts between the national government and the devolved government. You've been told of a story whereby dialysis machines were offered. But what does the Council of Governors say? We don't want them. We were not involved in the procurement process. Really, do you want to tell me that this person cares about the health of the Wanjikos and Otienos in this country? I do not think so. Ask yourself, do these people really want to help us? Or are they concentrating on fleecing us? Thank you.
Opposer number 2, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Confrey from Miathene Boys. Number 1, I start by saying that revolution did not fail in 1963. It didn't fail at all. What happened to the revolution is that Kenyatta put on measures to stop devolution, because during the second Lancaster House Conference, he was against devolution by himself with his group KANU. And therefore, it didn't fail, but it was a strategy by the president, number 1, of denying people funds, and number 2, holding them by pursuing, by using of some politicians like Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, so that these people may get to KANU. And therefore, this did not fail, but the government in place by that time did not support devolution. Number 2, I also stand to speak about this devolution that has brought us good in this nation. Let us think of this devolution in a wider perspective. Let us see what devolution has been to us. This what Mr. Jomo Kenyatta never found to be important today. Almost 50 years past, we find it important. Why? Because we have evolved, because we have realized for ourselves, because it's now quite open. It's wind in our brains that it is getting better and better every day. We are speaking of so many things about devolution. Doctors striking. I want to inform you that teachers have been striking even in the central government. And therefore the strikes that are happening today are not because of the devolved government. Even with the presence of the central government, there has been strikes also. And that now means devolution has nothing to do with that. This one also, we are speaking of failing to pay off the debt by the devolved counties or governments. Let us reason of this thing. These counties or the devolved system of government is young. It's only past 5 years since these people were given the powers and the mandate to be and to run their own counties. And therefore, at any given time, we should give them time so that they may develop themselves. In order for us to make things better, we should have the pace and the starting point of everything. We cannot blame devolution because of single failure today. Simply because people have failed today, it does not mean this is not going to work. But these are just a few challenges that face things when they start developing. But good things await us in the coming days. Devolution is only 5 years. Why don't we give it time and see what it can do better? Because I'm quite certain, these people who have been thinking for the last 50 years and came up with a good system of government and found it worthy to have a federal system of government to run this nation, thought clearly, we should not undermine them. I also want us to say, if you want to get the best metal, you must pass it through the best finance. I rest my case.
With M-Pesa niko juu, niko tops, niko fiti. Naeza pay up without using any hard cash. Just 2 taps on my phone and my baby's gone, niko sete. Oh, the pay rate so low, utashanga. I love you, M-Pesa.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The audience has posed questions to the teams on stage, which they will respond to. The proposers have been asked to expound on the Nairobi floods, if they affected the whole county or just parts of it. And the opposers have been asked to expound on how devolution has created gender balance. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Joa Nyambura is my name from Kaaga Girls. And to answer to your question, you asked if it is the whole of Nairobi which is flooded. And to answer to your question, it's not the whole of Nairobi. Moi Avenue. Now, I'll start by correcting my brother here, who said that teachers are the ones who are striking. But listen, here we are in devolution. You're talking about the dockets. The people allocated, they are unable to manage the dockets allocated to them, and you still tell us that devolution is more effective? No, I don't think so. So, on to my first point. Devolution has brought about conflicts between counties. For instance, look at what is happening between Vihiga County and Kisumu County. They are arguing over Maseno Town, which also happens to house a university. Another example, look at what is happening in Trans Nzoia County, particularly in Kitale Town. The governor said that all the kiosks be demolished in order to construct a temporary bus park. Temporary bus park, I repeat. The senator of the same county was against this, saying that it is inhuman, of which it is true. Listen, how will the parent who was depending on that kiosk for food, how will the parent be able to put food on the table? How will constructing a temporary bus park bring food to the table? How will it raise the standards of living of the people? So devolution really is not effective. Secondly, devolution has discouraged investors in our country. How? When the investors come to Kenya, they go and sign contracts with the national government. The contracts they sign, after signing the contracts, they are sent to the various counties. Then when they come to the counties, they meet a completely new set of standards and apparently higher prices. This is inconveniencing them, and in future will not be having any investors coming. And in connection to the investors, who would like to come invest in a county that has constant conflicts? Who? Tell me, who can do it? Who can dare even think of doing that? No one. In order to curb this problem, the national government should collaborate with the county governments in order to set the terms and conditions which they are going to apply to our investors. Devolution also, the leaders we appoint in our various counties, they are not accountable. I will give you an example. Look at Narok County. 1.3 billion shillings got lost mysteriously, and the governor is not even accountable. He himself does not know where the money went. Surely, devolution. Look at Kiambu County, where the governor plans to sink 221 million shillings to buy 42 vehicles. Surely. In the same Kiambu County, a large number of people are depending on relief food. How is it helping? In fact, I'm saying devolution should have been done away with as early as yesterday, and we go back to our old system of governance. I rest my case. Thank you.
Opposer number 3, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
How has gender balance been achieved by the county governments? It is very true. There are 47 counties in this nation of Kenya, and the constitution states that no more than 2/3 of each gender should be in each assembly. So you will realize that in each and every county, more than a third or a third is of a certain gender. That is, if the women are 2/3, then the men should be a third or somewhere there. Then if the men are 2/3, then the women will be a third or thereabout. So it is very evident. It was not there before in the unitary government, simply because in the National Assembly, the vacancies that were there, the seats that were there were less compared to the total number of seats in the nation of Kenya in each and every county. So you realize that county government has offered more gender balance or gender sensitivity to the nation of Kenya. In addition, the county government has ensured correction of facilities. In the current issues of the correction of facilities, we and the prisoners getting mistreated. They were treated in humane nature. Right away, you realize that the prisoners are getting orphan courses. Some are getting educated. Others are doing masonry, carpentry. This is great deal to our county government. The second thing, the development of the education in county government. You will realize that as a result of the devolved government, there has been devolution of education systems. The universities, there were main universities in the country of Kenya. But right away, every county has its own university. There are branches of the main universities in each and every county. This is great deal to our nation of Kenya. County government has achieved education in that way. Then the other thing, county government is the one that is in charge of the ECDE, that is the nursery student. It is employing teachers who are going to cater for them. The county government has also ensured the employment of very many people. Recently, there have been the construction of roads. Like for example, in Meru County, the Malaysian stretch, the 8 kilometer, is now getting to be completed. The people who have been working there are from within Meru County. They are making use of the Meru County resources. Is this not going to our county? If you go to other counties, the same is working. People who are in that county are benefiting from the funds that are given to the specific county. There has been the road construction, education improvement. County government is doing it so. Then we should understand that county government is more beneficial than the unitary government in this way. There are funds that were allocated to the county government. Right away, the county government is given its funds according to how equitable it can use. The county that cannot utilize its funds well is given less funds. I would like to answer a question that was asked. Are the county government given funds according to their abilities, or it's because of their needs? The county government are given funds according to their ability of utilization. Take for example like Nairobi County, it is given more funds. And then the smaller counties, though the other counties that are not utilizing their funds well, are given smaller funds. Give the cats to the grown riders. Give students to the motherly. I stand the ground.
Closing submissions, beginning with the proposers. You have a minute.
My brother here tells us that the counties are benefiting from the funds allocated to them. And I wonder to myself, this 221 million being wasted on 42 vehicles, is it benefiting the people? Are they going to be given those vehicles to drive, or what is exactly going to happen to that money? We have 12 million being wasted on mandazi. Are the people going to be fed that mandazi? We have strikes. And I shall ask you people, what is the use of a hospital without a doctor or a nurse to treat you? And they still tell us that the people are benefiting. Really, from those examples, do you see any benefit to the people? My brother said that the counties are given money according to their ability to utilize these funds. So really, how is it that the people sit in parliament and decide that this county cannot utilize their funds? Don't you think that is discriminatory? People, why do you want to return us to Egypt when we are already in Canaan? Let us get rid of this devolved government and go back to our old system. Thank you.
Opposers, you have 1 minute.
Do you know today that water has been discovered in Turkana? Do you know today there is oil in Turkana? Why was it not able? Why was the central government not able to discover it when they had power to do so? And why is it that we are finding it today that we have a county government in Turkana? Why do you want to cheat someone that county government is not working round the clock? If today we have rugby sevens in Meru, the rugby we have never seen in Meru County, the standing we had never had in Meru County, but today we have it. We have Machaku sevens rugby. Something that's never been to Meru is here. The great debaters context itself. The judges have been seeing on the TVs today are in Meru, right ahead, in front of me. Are you telling me this one is not because of the good things about our countess? We cannot at any given time stand and oppose the devolution. Kumbi, our founder father, Mr. Jomo Kenyatta, never found it to be important before his eyes to have this within his mind. But today, we tell those without of faith, God bless you.
Kaaga girls, Harriet, as a first speaker, you appeared very strong when you came at first, but even in your concluding remarks, in your first submission, we could tell that you struggled a bit towards the end. Rispa, good cross-examination. I love your points, your relevant examples, evidenced by facts. You make us understand you, and it tells me you're well read as well, and you did a lot of research, which was very good for a cross-examiner in your team. Joan, Good role playing, especially as that speaker. You answered your questions well, cross-examined, and gave out points.
When I look at the boys, I see a team of energetic young men, and I love the way Felix starts us off. A quite catchy introduction and a good journey into history, significant issues raised, quite calm, sober, intelligent presentation. The same applies to Godfrey, and I loved your rebuttal on industrial action. And you said that industrial action is not just as a result of devolution, that we still have industrial action even in the central government. That is quite presentable. Also, William, very effective debater, and I loved your final submission. I bet again you've picked it directly from the Caucasian chalk circle. Give the cat to the good rider and the child to the motherly. I think we see a team of intelligent debaters.
I think we have two very strong teams upstage. The only difference could be in the teamwork and the cohesiveness in the presentations. And, Kaaga girls, you're a powerhouse in your own way. What was lacking was the cohesiveness in your presentation. And that is something that you can work on. Miathene boys, one of the things that I was hoping to hear from your team is that it might be too early for us to start judging, how effective it has been. And saying, it's just 2 years and, we have made strides or not, but that would have been something that I was hoping that you would, talk about strongly. But all in all, I think very good presentations by Kaaga and Miathene boys.
At the end of the day, debate is a game of numbers, so we'll go straight to the results. Kaaga girls, the judges awarded you with 70%. That was a very good effort. Give them a nice hand. Yes. It's a very high score. Miathene boys, the judges gave you 73%. That makes you our winners.
So we'd like to appreciate Safaricom M-Pesa, KBC Channel 1, and urge you all to follow us on Twitter, at Great Debaters Contest, East Africa. I'm Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. We'll see you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.